WrestleMania 34. Oh boy, this was... when you talk about roller coaster WrestleManias, this sure was one. How they booked this, where it was literally the first half or first four matches were really good, entertaining, captivating, and you watch them and think, this show could actually be like a top 5 WrestleMania of all time. Like after you watch the Intercontinental Championship opener, Asuka against Charlotte Flair, and that great match that they had, the Fatal 4-Way for the US title, that was fine. Then you had Kurt Angle and Ronda against the Authority. Like, that was all really good. Like, I was really captivated by the show. And then it just fell off a cliff because of bad booking. Which you hate to see for a WrestleMania. Like, if you want shows to be badly booked, have it be, I don't know, have it be any show but WrestleMania. But for it to be at WrestleMania is really disappointing. This show, the main event, just going in, people were just going to hate it, and people did on the night. Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Having Reigns in the main event at all is always a bad idea. It's never recommended. And in many ways, this just summed up the company's 2018 so perfectly. Some great wrestling in there, great stuff at the beginning of the show, but then you get to the main events and it's just a letdown. Because the whole main event scene in 2018 was basically Brock, Reigns, and then like Strowman was in and around the mark, and that was like it. That was your main event scene in 2018 on WWE. So in that regard, it was disappointing. For my review today, I took far too many notes on this show when I watched it. Like, I literally took down like just about everything that happened throughout the whole like 5-hour show. So if it, it's a bit choppy and a bit weird, sorry about that. But I'm just gonna try and get through the notes in a way that it's not super boring, just reading every single move that happened, because it's WrestleMania 34. I don't think anyone cares to hear what happened at 6 minutes randomly in the match of the Fatal 4-Way US title, you know? So I'm going to try and get through this in a way that is entertaining, shows my like thoughts on the show, and makes you like really remember this show and think, oh yeah, this happened, that's cool, yeah, oh, that's my opinion of the show, and you get like a jog memory of what happened. So I'm just going to get into this review. Basically, we open the show, the American National Anthem sung by two women that I've never seen before. We get the WrestleMania 34 opening package, which is just them in New Orleans. It felt like a complete rip-off of WrestleMania 30, which was remembered so fondly. I can't wait to review that show. That's going to be excellent. WrestleMania 34, it's a rip-off package. From here we open the triple threat match, the Intercontinental Championship. The Miz defending against Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. The IC title opening WrestleMania 34. Great way to start the show. I'll address this now. The WrestleMania 34 itself, or the set, looked nothing short of stunning. I love the WrestleMania 34 set. I thought it looked so nice. The whole thing just looked excellent. The way they did it, I can tell so much work went into it, and I appreciate that. It looked great. Rollins came out first. He had the Game of Thrones Winter is Coming theme, which looked awesome. He had the eye, what do you call it? He had the eye contacts, those things on his eyes, so he had different colored eyes. It looked sick, the blue contacts. The Miz came out next. Of course, he's an 8-time Intercontinental Champion. Anyway, Finn Balor's entrance confused me greatly. I was expecting he would have a sick demon entrance with awesome lighting and effects, but instead he had his LGBT inclusion group, which I'm not going to comment. The match itself was really entertaining. Balor, within the first minute, did a high-flying dive to both Rollins and Miz on the outside. Cena was shown in the front row early on drinking a beer. More on Cena in the crowd later. Seth Rollins' move, the double blockbuster, looked really effective, so I liked it. He hit it on the Miz early. Rollins executed alternating suicide dives to Miz and Balor on opposite sides of the ring. That was sick. Very effective spot for Rollins. Corey Graves during this match was nothing short of awful on commentary. Same goes to Michael Cole. They hurt the overall atmosphere of the match. Just what they were saying, I was just... I don't even write down the commentary most of the time. It's not worth writing down. But I just remember when I watched this match, these guys were terrible. The Miz locked in a figure 4 on Balor at one stage of the match. Balor was about to tap. Then Rollins comes flying in with a Phoenix Splash that looked awesome. The last 3 to 4 minutes of the match was very entertaining. It was the typical finisher fest with near falls, came across really well. The ending of the match saw Rollins curb stomp Finn Balor, then hype the crowd up well before curb stomping the Miz to get the pinfall. So Seth Rollins gets the victory and becomes the Intercontinental Champion for the first time in his career at WrestleMania. Great way to open the show. Really strong start. The entrances, the match itself, the pace, excellent. I gave this 4 stars. 15 minutes 30 this went for as Rollins wins the Intercontinental Championship. So moving on, we go to the Streak versus title match where Charlotte defends the SmackDown Women's Championship against Asuka. Having the big-time Streak versus title match follow up that IC title opener was a great booking decision in my eyes. Like, it made the show have such a strong start. The video package emphasized the dominance of Charlotte throughout a time in the main roster, and then Asuka's 914-day undefeated streak, which is just ridiculous. Asuka's entrance looked pretty weird with the laser beams everywhere and the masks. Charlotte's entrance was pretty much her on the Queen throne, which I thought was cool. The match itself saw Asuka come out of the gate hard at Charlotte, nailing a big takedown on the Queen and some strikes. Charlotte came back with some chops and whatnot. Pretty much early going in this match, Tom Phillips called this the biggest women's match in WrestleMania history, which at first I was like, oh, how dare you? But then I thought about it, I'm like, it actually is. As of this point. Like a year later, they did the big main event, which I reviewed, but this at the time probably was the biggest women's match in WrestleMania history. So the match rolled on. Asuka went to kick Charlotte in the corner, but Charlotte caught her leg and slammed her to the mat. Lots of good action here. They both sold impact from some certain moves. Finally got back in a 9 count. Asuka hit a missile dropkick onto Charlotte for a near fall. Asuka grabbed both arms of Charlotte. She wrenched them back, then stomped away in the back of Charlotte. Charlotte hit a Spanish fly off the top rope to Asuka, which it was just a gymnast move. All of Charlotte's moves just look like gymnast work, like moonsault, Spanish fly, try and land on her feet as opposed to like her stomach or back, like just not great. Asuka would manage to kick out from that at a near fall, leaving Charlotte in disbelief. Asuka would roll out of a natural selection into a submission on Charlotte. Charlotte escaped. These two exchanged some more back and forth. Charlotte did some chops. Asuka did a headlock. Asuka screamed. She ran into the ropes before getting nailed by a brutal spear from Charlotte, but Asuka kicked out at a near fall. Charlotte locked in a figure 4, then she bridged into a figure 8. Charlotte was using only one arm at this stage because Asuka had been damaging Charlotte's one of her arms the whole match. Then this figure 8 was locked in, time ticking by. Asuka eventually taps out. So the 914-day undefeated streak is finished. Charlotte Flair retains the Women's Championship from Smackdown. I don't know if I'd support that decision in hindsight. If Asuka won here, she'd be just a megastar, and that would make her look even more legit, but anyway, afterwards, Asuka grabs the mic and says, tonight, Charlotte was ready for Asuka, congratulations. They embrace. Gave this 4 stars, 30 minutes, 5 seconds. Thought it was good for what it was. Another really good match at the beginning of WrestleMania 34, so I like what they did there. Then we see John Cena. He's in his front row seat. He's approached by a referee. The referee tells Cena something. Cena leaps over the barricade and sprints up the ramp to the backstage area. Okay, more on that later. From here we go to the Fatal 4-Way match for the US Championship. Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode versus Rusev with A in English. And with Jinder Mahal with Sunil Singh. So Jinder Mahal's here. This was the perhaps the year after Jinder just had that 2017 where he held the title all year. I don't know why Jinder had that reign, but it goes so long. This US title match, I said in the WrestleMania 35 video, but having the Fatal 4-Ways, easy way to get a bunch of guys on the card from like a mid-card or a women's or a tag division. Just get all the guys on the show. This third match of the night, US title Fatal 4-Way. Bobby Roode's entrance with the glorious thing on the stage was amazing. Bobby Roode's entrance was sick. Rusev coming out with the Rusev Day theme in New Orleans. Rusev was incredibly over. Pretty much Sunil Singh then introduced Jinder Mahal, who got no reaction. Basically, throughout this, Jinder and Rusev's entrance, we were introduced to countless foreign announce teams at WrestleMania 34. I hate when they do that at WrestleManias. They just show all the foreign announcers and it takes like 6 minutes. Anyway, they finished the entrances. Right out the gate, we got some entertaining action in this match. Rusev hit a big drop kick. There was an outside dive onto Jinder, among other moments. Bobby Roode took a power slam from Randy Orton for a near fall. Orton took Roode up to the top rope. Orton hit a picture-perfect superplex to Roode, but the cover was broken up by Rusev. The match rolled on. Rusev and Orton traded some offense. Orton hit his signature DDT to Rusev. Orton hit an RKO on English, then an RKO to Rusev, then an RKO to Jinder. But Roode broke up the pinfall, so Orton just went crazy there. Orton went for an RKO on Roode. Roode blocked it and went for a glorious DDT on Orton. Rusev broke it up. Rusev hit a massive kick on Roode. Jinder rolled up Rusev. Rusev then nailed a kick on Jinder. The crowd was incredibly behind Rusev here. Just the Rusev Day thing was so over. Sunil Singh provided a distraction. Rusev then super kicked him off the apron. Then Jinder hits his finisher on Rusev and pins him. Jinder Mahal becoming the new United States champion. I mean, it pleased India, I guess. Gave WWE some mainstream appeal in India. I don't really care. 2.5 stars. Went for 8 minutes 15. Fine match. Didn't overstay its welcome, so whatever. Commentary then plugs WrestleMania 34's theme song. And we move on. Mixed tag team match. Kurt Angle teaming with Ronda Rousey in her WWE debut, like her first match, against the Authority, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. I was a big fan of what they did here. I've got way too many notes on this, so I don't know how I'm going to get through it, but anyway, the fourth match of the night was certainly the most entertaining on the whole show. Ronda Rousey's debut in a match. Basically, 80,000 people live in attendance for this and millions watching worldwide. The video package of this match was pretty good. It went on a while. It really hyped this up well. The Authority, Triple H and Stephanie did their big entrance, coming out on motorbikes. There were maybe 5 other motorbike riders in front of them to add to the real impactfulness of the entrance. Commentary called it one of the coolest entrances ever. Sure. Kurt Angle came out next, got the big pyro show, as well the "You Suck" chants, which I don't care. Then Ronda Rousey came out, a bad reputation, with the Roddy Piper-inspired gear. Great stuff. Before the match even got underway, there were loud Ronda Rousey chants alongside "Ronda's gonna kill you" chants. Stephanie right away shoved Ronda, then grabbed Ronda Rousey by the hair and tossed her to the mat before running to ringside as Angle held her back. The bell finally sounded. Triple H and Angle started off the match. Angle back body dropped Triple H, then worked away at his left arm. Stephanie utilized countless heel tactics throughout this match, which Stephanie and Triple H worked great as heels. They began double teaming Angle. Ronda was getting pissed off by this. Triple H nailed a vintage spinebuster to Angle for a near fall. Triple H would then wear down Kurt Angle. Angle was like inches away from making tag to Ronda, but Stephanie would run over and pull Ronda off the apron. Ronda went jaw first on the apron and was pissed. So Ronda was getting so angry at Stephanie and Triple H. Angle sent Triple H crashing to ringside. From here, the hot tag is made. Ronda rushes into the ring and clotheslines Stephanie over. Rousey slams Stephanie to the mat. The look on Rousey's face was priceless, just dead serious, locked in. Rousey unleashed a series of strikes to Stephanie in the corner. She slams Stephanie to the mat again, this time by a hair. Ronda tosses Stephanie across the ring. Stephanie was pleading with Ronda to show mercy. Ronda got Stephanie in position for an armbar, but Stephanie blocked it, which that's something I didn't like. Why is Stephanie blocking an armbar that countless UFC fighters couldn't block? It looked terrible. From here, Stephanie tagged out. Stephanie mocked Ronda. Ronda caught Stephanie, totally death staring her again. Ronda gets Stephanie on her shoulders and slams her to the mat. Triple H pulls out the referee. And then Ronda's shouting at Triple H. Triple H then legs Ronda and sends her face first on the floor at ringside. Angle comes back. He's standing, they keep this match going. This was great. How they were doing this was just excellent. The match rolled on. Triple H pulled the referee into the corner and told him, "This is happening, let me go." This was during a Triple H and Ronda tease stare down. Triple H told the referee, "I'm doing this." So then Triple H and Ronda went at it. Ronda unleashed a big series of strikes on Triple H in the corner. She blocked a kick from Triple H. She then rolled through and got Triple H onto her shoulders, which looked great. Stephanie rushed in and pulled Triple H off of Ronda. Ronda chased Stephanie around ringside a little bit. Ronda then slammed Stephanie into the barricade. Stephanie eventually set Ronda crashing face first into the LED ring post. The match, it just kept going. Ronda did a Hurricane Rana on Triple H, which was really cool. Ronda locked in a signature armbar on Triple H. Triple H was screaming in pain. Stephanie once again saved saved Triple H. She locked in a rear naked choke on Ronda. Ronda flipped her over into an attempted armbar. Once again, Stephanie blocked the armbar. Really didn't love that. Triple H sent Angle into the ring post. Stephanie then sent Ronda shoulder first into the ring post. Triple H signaled to finish it. Triple H and Stephanie both got their opponents in positions for pedigrees. Angle backdropped Triple H over the ropes. Ronda would get Stephanie in position for the armbar. Stephanie held on for dear life, which, once again, was the 4th time she held on in the armbar. Finally, after all of this, Ronda broke Stephanie's clutch in her own hand. Ronda locking in the legitimate armbar. Stephanie tapped out immediately. Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle win this match. This was sensational. Best part about WrestleMania 34, in my opinion. I was so invested in this. Ronda Rousey's first match at WrestleMania. This was great stuff. Excellent work. Seeing Dana White in the crowd, really happy. Ronda's husband. This is all great. Best mixed tag match I've seen that I can recall. The way they worked this was excellent. Outside of Stephanie in the armbar thing, this was really good. Ronda hugged some people afterwards, and Stephanie was showing getting attended to by doctors. So I'm giving this 4 stars. It went for 20 minutes and 40 seconds. Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey get the win. And then from here, this show, well, it took a real big nosedive. Genuinely, after this, everything could have been great, but it was just super disappointing. The booking of everything else was pretty poor. My reviews of everything else is probably going to be pretty rushed, honestly, because I really cared for those first couple of matches. The 3 of the first 4, not the Fatal 4-Way match for the US title. That was only cool because of Robert Roode's entrance, or Bobby Roode's. But yeah, the rest of this show just, wow, did it fall off a cliff. Oh my god, it really did. So we went to a triple threat tag match, the Smackdown tag titles, the Usos defending against the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers. But after that Ronda match, nothing was going to be able to follow it. The New Day came out, which it's basically, they made a big pancake entrance. They came to the stage and there were special effects of pancakes. And a big group of midgets came out dressed as pancakes and they ran around ringside. One did the worm, just embarrassing. You can tell just from watching this match that these guys had been given nowhere near enough time to go and fully flesh out a match. So what we got here was 6 minutes of non-stop, fast-paced moves in action. It felt like 15 minutes of action in a 6-minute time span. I didn't like it. The finish saw Rowan toss both Usos from the top rope to the floor. Then the Bludgeon Brothers hit their tag team finish, a powerbomb to Kofi for the near fall. So the Bludgeon Brothers win the Smackdown tag titles, WrestleMania 34. Whatever, I gave it 2 stars, 5 minutes 50, and we move on. From here, we get an advertisement for all the shows on WWE Network, don't care. Then we get the singles match, The Undertaker versus John Cena. On paper, this should be insane, but they booked this terribly. In my opinion, this is what we should have got WrestleMania 30, but never came to be. Like, on paper, it sounds so great, but how they booked this with Cena, desperate to get a WrestleMania, match, and then he was sitting as a fan at ringside. Eventually, he ran backstage, as I said earlier on. Here, Cena came out, made his entrance. Pretty much, the Cena sucks chants were fairly loud inside the Mercedes Benz Superdome. Cena gets in the ring, 2 referees rush down and tell him something. Cena begins to walk back up the ramp, and the lights go out. Elias walks on the stage with his guitar. Love that troll by the company. Elias tells Cena that this wasn't going to be some walk in the park. Elias is cutting this promo. So this is WrestleMania 34. It was funny how they followed this up with 35 with the Doctor of Thugonomics thing and Elias. But anyway, Cena hits the 5 moves of doom on Elias. The crowd at this point is chanting Undertaker loudly. Cena's standing in the ring. Undertaker's theme music plays. And Cole says, that's a WrestleMania moment, right? Okay. Literally, Cena's music played, and he began to walk up the aisleway, and Cole's saying it's a WrestleMania moment. I don't know how. Then the Undertaker's music finally hits. Big WrestleMania entrance, takes 5 minutes. The Undertaker's walking down. I'm just thinking to myself, this totally devalues the WrestleMania 33 retirement with Roman Reigns, which I'll get to in the next WrestleMania review. But yeah, all the fans love this WrestleMania entrance, The Undertaker. It's always cool to see Undertaker at WrestleMania with these big entrances. Undertaker came out at this match itself. He came out with a flurry of strikes on Cena. Undertaker hit a big flying clothesline to Cena. He wrenched on the left shoulder of Cena a couple of times. Taker did an old school to Cena. He ran into the Cena into the corner. Taker did the snake eyes to Cena. Undertaker went for a chokeslam on Cena, but Cena got out of it. Cena side-slammed Taker. He did the You Can't See Me part of the 5-knuckle shuffle. But Undertaker sat up. Undertaker chokeslammed Cena. He does his signature taunt. Undertaker then grabs Cena, hits him with a tombstone piledriver for the pinfall. I genuinely have no clue what this booking was about from WWE. If you're going to have this match, have it be 15, 20 minutes. At least give us something legit. This is just a waste. Undertaker squashes Cena at WrestleMania. What is that? I gave this a dud. I wasn't happy with this. 2 minutes 45. Taker wins. Just whatever. I was fine with Taker winning, but how they did it just didn't like. From here we see Cole, Coachman, and Graves showing on commentary. Coachman said, what we just seen is one of the greatest WrestleMania moments in history. And my jaw just hit the floor. I was like, are you kidding me? How was that one of the greatest moments? That was one of the worst booked moments in WrestleMania history. Anyway, we got the Hall of Fame Class of 2018 recap package. So the Hall of Fame Class of 2018 was Jeff Jarrett, Mark Henry, Hillbilly Jim, Ivory, Jarius Robinson, who's the Warrior Award winner, the Dudley Boys, and the class headliner Goldberg. That was all really cool. By this point, about 2 hours, 40 minutes into WrestleMania, I'm starting to feel far less interested in the show than in that first hour and a half. They're really trying to kill my interest in the show. From here we go, the tag team match, Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon taking on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Storyline for this match was that Owens and Zayn were the big heels on SmackDown, and then they attacked Vince McMahon, Shane, Daniel Bryan, and others, and then they were fired, and this match took place where Daniel Bryan's making his return to in-ring action. This is a cool moment for Daniel Bryan to make his return, but the match itself, honestly, I don't really want to do a move-by-move analysis of this match. I end up will because, great reviewer right here. But anyway, Zayn hit a hell of a kick to Bryan off of a Kevin Owens distraction. Shane got sent off the apron and took a hard bump to ringside. Basically, the whole thing with this match was that Bryan was laid out for most of it. Because at the beginning of the match, Bryan got taken out and ambushed by Zayn and Owens. So Bryan was taken out. It was literally 10 minutes of Shane McMahon being beaten down by Zayn and Owens. So it wasn't that interesting to watch. Owens would then catch Bryan with a pop-up powerbomb. This is after Bryan's big comeback. Bryan kicked out 2. Shane launched off the apron onto Owens at ringside. Zayn was punching away at Bryan, screaming at him, How could you do this, Daniel? Bryan unleashed some big strikes of his own to Zayn. Bryan hit his signature yes kicks on Zayn. Bryan went to the corner and got the crowd into a massive yes chant. Bryan hits his big running knee, which Zayn sold so well. Then Bryan locked in a yes lock and made Zayn tap out in the middle of the ring. The Miracle on Bourbon Street Part 2, as Corey Graves called it. This match definitely improved as it went on. The first few minutes was boring as hell, but it improved. I give this 3 stars. 15 minutes 25 this went for. It was fine. From here we get told WrestleMania 34's attendance was 78,133. Breaks the previous record at the Mercedes Benz Superdome. Once again, the attendance is probably overblown by a couple of thousand, but who am I to comment? So, then, we go to the singles match of the Raw Women's title. Alexa Bliss, with Mickie James in her corner for some reason, defending as Nia Jax. This, I didn't want to review. This was crap. This was literally the whole bullying storyline. Like, I'll talk more about the storyline than the actual match. Thank God I wasn't watching WWE Weekly TV during this time period. Like, I took my big hiatus 2017 through 2019. I didn't watch, like, at all during that time. So, I thank God I missed this storyline. This whole bullying thing with Alexa Bliss, making fun of Nia Jax's appearance, and Nia Jax standing up for herself was just cringe. The acting I saw during the pre-match video package looked utterly shameful. Alexa Bliss's entrance was fine. The pedestal she stood on came across good. Nia Jax came out next. Her entrance was uneventful. The match, well, 3 hours and 20 minutes into a WrestleMania, where the last probably hour and a bit up to that point had been disappointing and pretty bad. To see this match, Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss for 10 minutes, no. Just no. Basically, I'll review from the ending. This match really began to drag after about the 5-minute mark. Bliss would shout, "You're nothing without me," at Nia. Nia then unleashed a big series of offense on Bliss. The crowd was totally dead throughout this. The finish saw Nia Alabama slam Bliss onto the mat. Nia picked up Bliss, went up to the second rope and nailed a Samoan drop on Bliss for the 3 count. Nia Jax overcomes the bully and wins the Raw Women's Championship. Absolutely no one cares. Nia Jax is completely terrible at pro wrestling, sports entertainment, performance art, whatever you want to call it. She's just terrible, and I give this match 2 stars. 10 minutes 40, Nia Jax wins the Raw Women's title, moving right along. From here, we go to probably the most disappointing match, or if not one of, in WrestleMania history. AJ Styles defending the WWE Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura. This should have been incredible. This should have been epic. This should have been one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history. There's no real reason it shouldn't have, but the fact of the matter is, I'm dead set that Vince McMahon and the producers told them to make this match just whatever, run-of-the-mill average, so it didn't overshadow the main event, which, in its own right, the main event was just terrible. So, this match, just on paper, is an instant 5-star classic, wherever, whenever it takes place. These two guys absolutely killed it at Wrestle Kingdom 9, and that singles match in the Intercontinental Championship. So, let's get into what happened, and why this match is such a letdown. Basically, before that, though, Shinsuke Nakamura got played to the ring by violin and whatnot. That was pretty sick. AJ Styles' entrance was decent. Didn't compare to Shinsuke's, though. The match got underway. These two held their ground at the start. They locked up and then broke again. Nakamura was prancing around, kicking AJ Styles, how Shinsuke does it. Nakamura did the thing where he had his head on the belly button of Styles and was waving his arms around like he has Down syndrome. Like, that looked ridiculous. And yes, Down syndrome. Syndrome. Okay? Anyway, Nakamura did a big knee drop across the face of Styles. Nakamura worked on Styles a bit longer. Then Styles caught Nakamura with a big knee to the head. Basically, Styles did a standing forearm into a snap suplex on Nakamura. Nakamura leaped off the middle rope and nailed a big boot to Styles. But Nakamura then shouted, "Come on!" and unloaded a big series of strikes and knees to Styles' ribs. Styles did a big flying forearm to Nakamura for a near fall. Styles then nailed a picture-perfect gutbuster on Nakamura for a near fall. From here, Styles would have kicked the MCL of Nakamura. Very precise commentary from Corey Graves there. Nakamura sold it quite well, to be fair to him. The match just never got out of first gear. It was basically the same as Braun and Styles at the 2019 Royal Rumble in that regard. It was just very one pace through the motions. It never really picked up. Like, getting towards the end, Styles hit a phenomenal forearm on Nakamura for a near fall. Styles went for a springboard 450 splash to Nakamura, but Nakamura got his knees up to a near fall on Styles. These two exchanged strikes for a little while. Nakamura hit a knee to the back of Styles' head for a near fall. The finish saw Styles pin Nakamura to retain the WWE Championship. After the match, Nakamura gave Styles the title. They did the respect BS, whatever. Then Nakamura low-blowed Styles. The crowd emoted more in that moment where Nakamura turned heel as opposed to the whole match. So this went for 20 minutes and 20 seconds. Styles retained the title. I wanted to give this 3 stars, but I'm going to give it 3.5 because I feel generous. So that was that match. Complete disappointment. Total letdown. Just one of the biggest letdowns in WrestleMania history. Then we get an ad for WWE 2K18, which, okay, there's a recap for the kickoff show, which, as I said, I could have reviewed the kickoff show, but I don't want to watch any more WrestleMania 34 than I need to. Then we get, yet another terrible booking decision at WrestleMania 34. This show just, after that first hour and a half, 2 hours, it really fell off a cliff. Ever since Ronda Rousey won that match with Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie, this just nosedove. The tag team match for the Raw Tag Team Championships. The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, a very credible, legitimate team, defending against Braun Strowman, who didn't have a partner, until Strowman came down, and, this is just ridiculous. Strowman made his entrance. He pushed the bar, as in like the literal bar they had set up for the Sheamus and Cesaro's entrance. Strowman pushes this bar off the stage. Strowman says that he can find no one in the locker room to be his partner. He says that it's one of WWE Universe members who's his partner. Strowman then spends literally 5 minutes walking around ringside in the crowd trying to find a partner. He eventually finds Nicholas. This 10-year-old child gets in the ring looking terrified, which as you would be. He's 10 years old in front of 80,000 people. That would be frightening. It would be probably the worst nightmare. So Nicholas gets in the ring, stands on the rope. Strowman's asked this child what his name is. He says Nicholas. Strowman's shouting. The match begins. A 10-year-old child is competing for the Raw Tag Team Championships. This company's unbelievable. This is WrestleMania. This shouldn't be happening. If this kid was a Make-A-Wish child or someone training to be a pro wrestler or something, I'd be totally fine with that. If this was a Make-A-Wish situation, that's all good, okay? Make-A-Wish kid and Strowman, that'd be an incredible once-in-a-lifetime experience that you'd never be able to forget. But it wasn't a Make-A-Wish kid. It was John Cone's son. So, yeah. The ring work wasn't great. Strowman came out of the gate hard, tossing Sheamus and Cesaro around. Sheamus and Cesaro took control for like 2 minutes. Nicholas came in like twice, stood there looking scared, and then got tagged out. In the end, well, Strowman power slams Cesaro and pins him. So Braun Strowman and 10-year-old Nicholas win the Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. What a joke. This went for 4 minutes, gave this a dud. We move on to the main event now. Singles match for the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar defending against Roman Reigns. Well, yeah, the main event of WrestleMania 34. This is the rematch of WrestleMania 31. This match made the WrestleMania 31 match look like God's work. Pretty much this, well, the crowd absolutely just pissed all over it, chanting, "This is boring, this is awful, CM Punk, Randy Savage, we want to go home," that kind of thing. The crowd just hated this. Keep in mind, at this stage in the show, it was 11:50 p.m. at night, and they'd just seen 6 hours of wrestling, and they were so vocal in their hatred for this. That's how bad this was. Many of these fans have been in attendance since 5 or 6 in the afternoon, and it was 11:40, so, I mean, whatever. Basically, the first half of this match was your classic Brock Lesnar match. He just came out of the gate dominating, tossing Reigns around. Reigns got a few bits of offense in. Brock was just controlling him. You know, Brock had a few German suplexes on the floor at ringside, which looked good. They went to the announce tables and slammed each other on them. Fine. They used the ringside barricade a little bit. The match got back in the ring around the midway point, and it honestly got unbearable. Brock just hit F5 after F5 on Reigns for near fall after near fall. The fourth F5 to Reigns was through the announce table at ringside. Lesnar was just walking around controlling Reigns. New Orleans crowd, as I mentioned, was just pissing all over this. This match went way too long. The crowd just began randomly cheering, and I was like, why is that? And because a beach ball was being hit around the crowd, which is just hysterical. It's such a pro wrestling thing. It's just exactly how you feel during a Brock Lesnar match, just hitting beach balls around. So Brock Lesnar, he ripped off his gloves, he then unleashed a series of strikes to the skull of Reigns. Meanwhile, the crowd was loudly chanting, "This is awful," so, yeah. Pretty much we get the same thing we got at SummerSlam 2016 between Brock and Orton. This was just Reigns getting busted open, bleeding everywhere. Just a mess. Lesnar put Reigns onto his shoulders. Reigns escaped and hit 2 spears on Lesnar for a near fall. The visual of Reigns screaming at Lesnar with the Crimson Mask was the only good part of this match. Lesnar countered a spear attempt into a 6th F5 to get a pinfall on Reigns and retain the United... I'll repeat that, guys. Or I'll try and say that actually properly using English. So, Lesnar countered a spear attempt into a 6th F5 to get the pinfall on Roman Reigns, 1, 2, 3, and retain the Universal Championship. So, this whole match wasn't even to put Reigns over and have him win, which made this feel even more redundant. Lesnar and Heyman walk off from ringside to close the show. What we didn't see on the broadcast was Brock throwing the title belt at Vince and Gorilla, which was hilarious, and Vince cursing at him. That would have been a fascinating ending to the show if they brought the cameras into Gorilla, but they didn't. Instead, the show closes with Roman Reigns walking up the long WrestleMania aisleway in front of 4 referees and medical staff, with all the blood having been wiped off him by referees. The last visual of WrestleMania 34 is Reigns looking around the crowd depressed, so I'll give this a dud. This was just crap. Brock Lesnar retains the title, 15 minutes 55. That was your main event for WrestleMania 34. Could they have booked a worse main event? I don't think they could have. Overall, for this show, I'm going to give it a C or a C minus, I think. I'm giving this actually, the main event and everything's happened in the second half. I'm giving this a C minus. This WrestleMania, it gave us some great moments. Ronda Rousey's debut, and that fantastic mixed tag match, that great Intercontinental Championship opener, and the Asuka vs. Charlotte match, and the reaction Braun got. Those are the highlights, but notice All of that, apart from the Braun stuff, took place within the first hour and 42 hours of the show. There's still 3 hours after that, which is what derailed this show. Those last 3 hours was so bad. So many moments that made me think, this is just so damn illogical and terribly booked, which he never want that at a wrestling show. Firstly, let's just use this. Cena and The Undertaker. Throughout this, I thought this could have been epic, but how they ended up booking this was terrible. I like what they did with Cena being in the crowd, but having The Undertaker come out and squash him in 3 minutes was just a joke. I mean, you might as well have had this be a 25-minute match. You might as well have scrapped a couple of things on this card. Not everyone has to be on the WrestleMania card, okay? I know it's a shocking concept, but you can have guys not be at the WrestleMania card. Pretty much the whole thing with, Undertaker wanting his send-off to be losing to Roman Reigns. He should have wanted that, but he didn't. He came out here and just did this match with Cena, which must have been a favor from Vince, because this just didn't need to happen. Secondly, for bad booking, the main event with Brock and Reigns was terribly booked. It was nowhere near as entertaining as a WrestleMania 31 match. It was a poor attempt at replicating Brock vs. Cena at SummerSlam 2014, and it failed miserably. The crowd was absolutely hating it, and then just the ending was bad, and then the fact that it ended with Brock throwing the title at Vince and Gorilla, just a mess. Thirdly, for bad booking, sacrificing AJ Styles with Shinsuke Nakamura so that the main event that you knew would be bad doesn't get shown up is shameful by Vince. That's garbage. How can you have these two workers go out there at WrestleMania and have them put on a 3.5 star match at best? These two can effortlessly do a 5-star, but they just were literally told not to. Fourthly, for bad booking, the other main one, Braun Strowman won the tag team championships with a 10-year-old child, and it wasn't even a Make-A-Wish kid. It was just the son of a referee, which is just awful. It made the championships look utterly useless, lost any credibility. And the fifth example of crap booking and just illogicalness, that's not even a word, but illogical behavior, we'll go with that, logical behavior. Nia Jax winning the Raw Women's Championship from Alexa Bliss. That didn't need to go 10 minutes. That didn't even need to happen at WrestleMania. How they did that was awful. Complete just mess. So all in all, WrestleMania 34, in my eyes, it will be looked back upon as a show, and that's how I look back on it now, as a show that, great opener, Asuka vs. Charlotte was great, the ending I didn't love, and then Ronda Rousey making a debut in that match was great, and then Bryan's first main match back. And the rest of the show was crap. So I'm going to give this a C-, just because I feel generous, and those good things redeem the show, plus the set. The set was epic, the entrances were cool. So a C- for WrestleMania 34. That's the review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, and sub. You guys know the drill. WrestleMania 33 review coming soon, and that'll be all good. So yeah, see ya.